Very nice.
Hello,
Thank you.
hello, everybody. Are we waiting for we're waiting for Alex Crabb, etc.?
Yes.
Is that it? Okay, great. We did actually go a little bit early. I kept saying to everybody, this will go faster than you think, but anyway, I think that he will be here in just a second. Let me tell you a little bit about Asta. Asta, bottom, which is actually not capitalized, so it's little a STA, has been actually recognized as the best restaurant in Boston, in the Boston area, by Boston Magazine for the last 2 or 3 years. But it's kind of a sleeper. A lot of people don't know about it, especially in Cambridge. And they always do a set menu or a tasting menu. However, they're very unpretentious. And what they do is they do a 3-course, usually, a 3-course, which is called the neighborhood menu. And it's very affordable at like $35. And then they do a 6-course menu, which is more like $65 or something like that. Then they do the 8-course menu, which has things like foie gras, and it's for the real, foodies among us. And they have incredible wine pairings. It's a couple named Shish Parsigian and Alex Crabb with 2 B's. And Alex was a sous chef for Les Balliers, a chef de cuisine actually for a long time. And Shish worked at and kind of helped to found a Cambridge institution, which is Renee Becker's High Rise Cafe, his various cafes. So they have a big kind of footprint in terms of the food and beverage, life in Cambridge and Boston. So they decided that they would just do this thing whereby they would do exactly what they wanted to do. So they have a very minimal website. They're not into publicity. They just kind of do their little thing every night. And they are totally adorable in terms of seeing a restaurant in it. It reminds me of my days in the early 70s. I have to date myself, of Peasant Stock Restaurant, which is people who just want to cook and go out there and do it. And so that's actually what Alex and his team has been doing. So I see in my lower right hand quadrant there, I see Alex Crabb. And Alex, so Asta is only about, well, especially right now, it's only 10 tables or 10 people that they do every night. So they're doing that because of pandemic issues. And they do only one menu, which is a 6-course menu. Every course is just incredibly carefully thought out. They all work together, and there's always a cerebral kind of influence that binds it all together. It's always amazingly seasonal. My husband Reed and I did it a week ago Friday, because let's face it, I have to do these things as part of my job. So we had a great dinner there a week ago Friday, and we figured out all the angles, etc. So at this point, I'm going to hand it to you, Alex, because it looks like you're all set. Now he's going to open this to the public at 7 o'clock to 10 lucky people. But in the meantime, here we are at 6:20, and he's going to amazingly go through, and I can't believe he's going to do it, 6 courses in the next half hour. Good luck, Alex.
I'm not muted, right?
You're not. You sound great, and you're all set. And actually, Michael, I'm going to all the sessions, so I'm going to leave you to Michael Schultz, who is your staff person, and take it away, Alex.
Hi, Michael, do you see the cutting board cam as well?
Yes, I can see that one as well. So basically, I'm going to be, my role is to switch between the views. If
or sometimes you can split them, because I'll be jabbering away and cutting at the same time.
Okay.
And how's the lighting? Is the lighting okay? You can turn more lights on.
It's good.
Yeah, okay.
It's fine for me, and the cutting board looks great.
All right, so hi, I'm Alex Crabb. This is Asta. Mary Catherine kind of gave a rundown, but the one thing is everyone that sits down that's willing and able gets a glass of sparkling white wine. So cheers. I hope everyone's enjoying something as well this evening. Okay. I told you what everything's about, so I guess I'm going to dig right into it. This is going to just kind of be like a quick overview. There's going to be some points of interest, I think, along the way. I am kind of setting up for dinner at the same time. So let's see. First course. Squid. First course is a squid. Here we go. So I'm going to go here. Sorry, I have timers going. Can you check the tip on that? Actually, first place I'm going to start is that in 4 courses we have risotto, and I make risotto all the way, straight through, just to stress myself out more. So here's a pot with onions, butter, olive oil, rice. I'm going to add the rice now. We usually do about a handful for 2 people.
Really?
A little more. I'm gonna let that get a little toasty. I'm gonna keep stirring it and going at it as we go through. Guys, can you grab me some white wine, please? Okay, squid on my board. This is the squid. We cut it in half, and then this way. The trick is to cut it really, really thin, right?
Your camera is cutting off what you're doing there. Oh, unless we can get the, we can't see your hands unless we can go to the cutting board, maybe.
Mike, go to cutting board,
Yeah, if you look at guys, if you look at speaker view, you should be able to see both of them side by side.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can.
Yep, that's very
Aha.
clear.
Yes, great. Good. Thank you.
Everybody's got it now?
Yep.
Excellent.
No.
That's laser. I cut the squid really thin. I'll do a little more. The trick with squid, right? Is either you have to cook it for a really long time or a really short time. We're going to cook this for a really, really short time in a second. So this dish, you know what I need laser? It's the bacon. Let's see. I need a bowl. Bowl. A little kohlrabi. Some shaved Brussels sprout, right? Fresh sauerkraut. And sour cream. A little pickled mustard seed. We do like 4 pounds of pickled mustard seeds once a year. Makes a lot. Then to thin it out, a little beer. And some whole grain. So whatever. That's kind of like the dressing. You know what this is? This is just fancy coleslaw. Fancy coleslaw with kohlrabi, little Brussels sprouts. That's chopped herb. That's Back Bay. Can you hear the sirens? Back Bay. Sorry about that. We're gonna mix that up. Good. All right. Make it another bowl. Now the squid. This is a raging hot pan. You can see the smoke coming off. It's dry. There's nothing in it. It's just been sitting on the light or on the cooker. So right in. Move it around. Dry pan. Let it kind of rage. Let's turn on the risotto. Now it's about still a little translucent, but not too much. I'm gonna put a little clarified butter in there. Season it. That's ready. super tender, super fast. What's that? Yeah. So it's all tossed there. Down in the middle. Now, round it. This is a broth that we make from chicken stock, onions, bacon, and water. We usually pressure cook it for about 2 hours, and then drain it out, and then we put, what are the flakes called? Bonito flakes. Then we put bonito flakes in for 6 minutes and steep it again. So you get
Bonito flakes?
Yeah, bonito flakes, like for
Shish.
gnocchi. Right. So you get 2 different types of smoke in there. Super smoky. And then that's it. So bacon down, and then this is an oil we make from dry yeast that we toast in the oven and then spin with oil. So it's kind of just like, it has no flavor, but it feels very flavorful, if that makes any sense. Like umami, it's just bursting with umami, but it doesn't really taste like anything. So we're just gonna put that in there and kind of kick it up a little bit more. Just a couple floats. All right, first course, there we go. So, you know, the thing is, the tricky thing is, oh, I did this too, I set this up for the kohlrabi. If you don't have a zoodler, get a zoodler. But they're just so great, look at that.
Mm.
You can do that with anything. Really save us. Well, the thing is, when you're doing this many courses, is you don't want everything to be incredibly intense or bitter or sour or too complex, because they're just going to overwhelm the guest. So yeah, that looked like a simple thing, right? But it's 1 of 6. We got to keep moving. My risotto is ready for the wine. Right, put that in. That's it. Here's another deceptively simple dish that we're not even going to be able to get all the way through. And then right now it's the most, I think everybody likes this dish the most, but it's really simple and weird. This is the flan, and on top, it's a savory onion flan. On top has some black truffle, celery root, and turnip. I'm just gonna talk through the flan really quick, because you're like, onion flan, how is it not sweet? So we start with onions and milk and cream, and we simmer it until the onions are soft. And we spin it up and drain it out. We did this, and we're like, it's not oniony enough, but I don't want to add any more texture to it. So we dehydrated the heck out of some onions, right? We do like a whole dehydrator worth at a time. When we add those in, we'll put this back on the stove, steep it for another hour, 2 hours, and then drain that out. Then we add the eggs to that. It's like a basic flan technique from there. Add the eggs to that, but it's the dehydrated onions that's the key. We ruined so much flan base to figure that out. So the dehydrated onions are in there. We drain it out. The other thing about a traditional flan, right, is the burnt sugar. And we wanted that. We wanted to have that sort of the signifier in the brain that there's going to be burnt, because that's really what a flan is. But again, it's savory, so we didn't want it to be too sweet. So we made this is the burnt sugars. We made burnt sugar with half sugar and half isomalt. And isomalt,
Half what besides the sugar?
it's called isomalt. You can find it in the stores usually. It behaves like sugar, but it's not sweet.
Got it.
You need some sugar in there to actually burn it, because isomalt doesn't really burn. There's no saccharides in it. So it doesn't burn until like way a long ways, temperature-wise. So we add some sugar to get it burned, but it's not too sweet. So that's in the bottom of the cup. We put the custard in, cook it in the bain-marie in the oven, and then we have the flan. Now, can I get another bowl? I'm gonna tip this out. say a little prayer. There we go. So you can kind of see the custard. It's hard. Custardy there.
Mm.
And then that's so now that the dark liquid is kind of sweet and kind of oniony. But it also looks like a classic traditional creme caramel at this point, which is kind of like what we wanted in. Risotto is calling. So is the timer. It's completely dry. So now I'm gonna start adding chicken stock to it. Where are we? Just to cover. We'll let that simmer out. Okay, and a little salt now. Good. So that's the base, right? Step one. This is another part. Well, it's really simple, but lots of work. This is the butter made from chicken. So we take a whole chicken and we confit it in butter, the whole thing. It's usually, I mean, it doesn't sound that crazy for a professional kitchen because our butter comes in like 1 pound blocks. So it makes, you just put 5 in, it's not, but so you get chicken butter. Chicken butter is really, really flavorful. It has extra umami. It has like a roasted chicken flavor to it on top of all the deliciousness of butter. So I take some of this down on a tray, right on the bottom. I put a little water down. Now on top, I'm going to put celery root. It's thin. A couple of those. Some turnips. I cook it this funny way. You're like, why don't you use a pan? I want it to be really flat. I want it because it's going to kind of steam and blanch at the same time. I'm going to put that on high for a second. So while that's going, I'll put the truffle on. Summer truffle. I like the zester for the summer truffle because it kind of helps move the flavor around. The smaller pieces get all over your palate. This goes real fast. Because everything is cut so thin. And you want it kind of crunchy, but soft. Again, the custard is really, soft and unctuous. So you want to have a little bit of fight left in the fruit bag. So they're ready now. That's it. The butter melted, the water steamed them. They have a little bite, but they're a little floppy still. One thing I really like to do here is to hide the really expensive things, like truffle. So we'll vary this all now. I don't know why. It's fun. There we go. So again, kind of a simplistic plating, right? A lot of the work went in ahead of time. Flavor upon flavor upon flavor. That's 2. We're doing pretty good. How are we for time? I have 15 minutes. All right. I'm doing pretty good. Okay. The next dish is shiitake on the grill. Andre, can you come get this bow ready, please? You're going to meet Andre. He's going to run around. There he is. Can you fan that? So the next dish is a shiitake dish. And I really like this. I'm going to kind of cut. I'm going to cut and talk. Everyone can hear me fine? Yeah? Enough? Okay. So these shiitakes grew up on Martha's Vineyard and were delivered this morning. And this is why I use this. It's not because I woke up one day and said, I want to make a shiitake dish. It's because I'm confronted with this really incredible, really special product that's from right here. That the person that's growing and is really enthusiastic about it. I think that if we ate more mushrooms, we eat less meat, which is not a bad thing. And they're just really, really incredible, thick, meaty, juicy shiitakes that are super fresh. Incredibly fresh. I mean, you can't. It's hard to. So I buy like hundreds of dollars of shiitakes every year from this guy. And I always struggle with trying to figure out a dish. So this is this year's dish. I take them, you see it, I score to one side. I cut the foot out. Foot's cut out. I'm gonna grill them. throw them on the little charcoal grill here. These strawberries got going. You want to get the wrap. All right, while he's doing that, I'm going to add my leeks now. I know, I'm bouncing all over. Sorry. So the risotto's, the first round of chicken stock has kind of evaporated or soaked up. So now I'm going to add my leeks. Because I want them to cook, but I don't want them to cook the heck out of it. And now I'm going to add my second round of chicken stock. Just about the same amount.
So what part of the leeks, what part of the leeks are in there? What part of the leeks? What part of the leeks?
Yeah, it's the white and just barely a little bit of the green. Like the light green. But mostly the white. So that's going to take away. I'm going to put these on the grill. So I'm going to brush the shiitakes with a mixture because, again, now we're getting into fall, and I wanted it to kind of still be resonating around here and for this season. And I was trying to get some flavors into it, and it just needed a freshness. So I reduced apple cider. You're going to see that another time. Reduce apple cider, and I stir in a little black-eyed pea miso. So again, like what we're doing are simple preparations, and we're just building these flavors and compounding them with all these like umami-rich sort of notes and hedging it into big flavors. So this is half reduced cider. Like I take a gallon and cut it down by half. So half reduced cider.
Wow.
And half black-eyed pea miso. So it's kind of nice and sticky. I'm gonna brush them on. Okay, we're gonna talk through the rest of it. The other thing, we're building it up, right? Building the flavor. So I take green pepper and green beans, and I roast them hard in oil. And when I say roast, I mean I want to show you. I've saved some. It's burnt, like really, really dark. Again, green pepper, green beans, they have the sweetness, and the green pepper roasted like that, almost burned, it has kind of the same umami that we've been chasing. It's like the thing that makes the side of your mouth, your palate kind of salivate when you think about it. You know, like why sausage and peppers are so good is that like, burned piece of green pepper from the side there. So we take that, we cook the heck out of it, we mash it up, and I put a little soy sauce in it. So these flavors that aren't, these seasoning ingredients that aren't necessarily from here, but woven into these ingredients that are from here, I think to kind of, and very seasonal, to kind of make a moment in time. I mean, the hub is a really hard place to cook, Boston, because we have so much of all of the cultures here that, you know, what is distinctly Boston? What is distinctly New England? So it's kind of weaving all these things together in a sensible, sensitive way. That's what we're doing. Okay, I'll take another bowl. Not everything goes in a bowl, but I'm just plating them in a bowl right now because, can I get another bowl, like a fancy bowl? Yeah, there we go. Here's a different bowl. Change of pace for everyone. So I'm gonna put some of this green bean stuff down right in the middle, right? It doesn't have to look pretty because what do? I'm noticing as I plate all these things with you guys that it all is starting to look the same. It kind of happens. You get into these blind spots where you don't realize it, but it's, you know, I'll have to deal with that after this. And I can do it. So we make some mushroom stock. So this is kombu water, which is kombu and water. You extract the flavor any way you have. Every time I read a recipe for dashi or kombu broth or anything like that, how they're extracting the flavor is different depending on the cookbook. So find your way, whatever works for you. This one was soaked, then boiled, then drained, then reduced. Then I steeped dry mushrooms in it, drained that out, and then this is the second steeping of dry mushrooms, all the trim and older mushrooms. So that's really concentrated now. Ooh. It's hot. This is celery and carrot and bok choy. This is going to be the broth for the mushroom. There we go. I'm going to warm this up just so the bok choy kind of wilts a little bit. Roll risotto. That goes on the eye. These mushrooms are looking great, Mr. Andre. I'll take those. 5 minutes left. You're good. There we go. 5 minutes. So the mushrooms, you can see they've been glazed. They're soft. Put those down in the middle. Why dance around it? They're mushrooms on a plate. Let's put it there, front and center. You have this. The bok choy. The bok choy is there for a little. See how it's still firm but wiggly at the same time? Because you want the crunch and the fresh to go with this. I know it's like I'm repeating myself, but really it's these little kind of parlor tricks of building flavor and balancing textures. That's all it is. Okay. Oh, Shish wants a picture of this one. That's that one. Simple, complex flavors. Okay, the risotto is looking good. We're gonna go through this next one really fast. As you can see, I don't really stir my risotto that often. It does a lot of work for itself. You can get a lot of that at the end. All the creaminess. So it's coming along. I'm gonna do this part really fast. I'm sorry. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves. So this is a guinea hen, right? We take the skin off. Look at that. Can you see that fat? This is why guinea hen's so delicious, right there.
Guinea hen's really delicious.
Really delicious. And they eat ticks. If you live in the country, get guinea hens, they eat ticks. Turkeys do too, city turkeys especially. Okay. And then I took all the meat off, the bone. Where'd that carcass go? These are the breasts, and the thighs. Yeah. This is what it looks like. I'm just going to layer it on. We got herbs. Put a little herb down. Salt. Pepper. This is a secret weapon. This is called transglutaminase or meat glue. It's an engineered enzyme that aligns the proteins and makes them stick to each other. It's used in like sausage making, things like that. I don't use a lot, but sometimes it's fun to do. It doesn't have any flavor. So I'll put the breast down. I butterfly the breast open so it's flat. So that's down, and then I'll do another layer. Salt. Right? A little meat glue more. Thigh. Right? Herbs. Salt. We'll roll it up. Gently. This, we make a little parcel. I'll tie that and then steam it for about 15 minutes, just really gently kind of set everything. Not cook through, but just set it so it doesn't pull away, the skin doesn't pull away. And then I'll take that. This is what it looks like. It's been roasted. It's roasted, but it's not finished yet. See the inside? There. Press. Juicy. Done. I'm gonna finish that risotto now. So that's the main course. The guinea hen there. Right now it's with dandelions. Oh yeah. Give me the white bowl there. You can see our risotto's looking good. You see how sticky and thick it got? I'm gonna finish it with a little butter. That's the part. You heat it in now. Heat it. There you go. And a little scallion. Aha. So the risotto comes, of course, before the guinea hen, but I felt like I had to rush so that we didn't mix it. Look at it now. That was just a little butter and a little beating,
Okay.
and it's that. You can put cheese in it if you want. You don't have to. And I mean, you know, when it's something this simple, I try and keep it simple. So everybody gets a little risotto. That's that. Wow. Where are we at time? Nobody? How's it? Mike, how are we on time?
We got 5 minutes left.
We got 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
That's great. Apple hand pie.
Sounds perfect.
Oh yeah. I guess we can go Q&A right now as well. If anybody has questions, and I can sort of walk through the apple hand pie dessert at the same time.
Can you tell me about the powder that you were putting on the guinea pig and the guinea guinea hen?
Yeah, it's an engineered enzyme called transglutaminase. It's also known as meat glue in the industry. You can find it. I get mine from Modernist Pantry. It's an online store. I think they're out of Maine actually. And you can, if you want to kind of dabble in the molecular chemistry type stuff, they have a lot of smaller amounts of things, so it's much more available.
And what is it called again?
It's called meat glue or transglutaminase.
So what does it do?
It breaks down the proteins and kind of aligns them. It breaks them down and makes them sticky. And with pressure and no air, like if you wrap it up in plastic, it'll kind of re-stick to itself. And it's a little bit wacky, but you know.
If we did it without it, would it fall apart?
It wouldn't fall apart, but you wouldn't get as good as lot pie. You could totally do it without it, and it'll be pretty good.
Sort of like food glue?
Yeah, without the food glue. I mean, you can do it like, for example, you don't use that in a meatloaf, right?
Right.
When a meatloaf sticks together. So it's kind of a similar thing. It will stay together, but for this, I use a little meat glue just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
So for dessert, we have apple ham pie. We also started with a reduced cider and white chocolate ganache.
Ooh.
We take the reduced cider, the stuff we were using earlier, and put it in a bowl. And I use 1 1/4 more white chocolate than I use cider. So 100 grams of cider, 125 grams of white chocolate. And I'll put that in a double boiler. So that's gonna chop it in the double boiler, and while we do that, I go to the coffee farmers market, and there's a couple of people there, and they have all these different types of apples, all sorts of different apples, and they say different things about them. So I like to pick and blend like that. There's some chestnut dried apples that are really nice, super sweet, and they're really hard as well. So I'll grate half the apple, I'll chop half the apple, depending, you want some mushy apple in there, so you get like the custardy parts, but you want some firm pieces of apple as well. Season it with cinnamon. You got give me chocolate apple. So you can see like the grain pieces, chocolate pieces. This is pie dough. Just a regular old standard pie dough. Rolled out.
Like a store-bought pie dough?
Oh, we make it, but I mean, so let's see. Ours is a pound of butter, 670 grams of AP flour, a cup of water, and 2 tablespoons of vodka. You grate it all, chop it up, add your liquid, don't knead it or work it, roll it out. And Yeah, you seal it up. Okay. You guys see that? Yeah. Everything got really. You want to put an uncomfortable amount in there. And then you pinch it shut. You don't want to get greedy, but you do want to like make sure it edges. There we go. I put a little vent in it. I'll egg wash the top and put cinnamon sugar over the top. And voila. I bake it 375 for about 18 minutes or so. Let's see. No pressure on it. There you go. Apple hand pie.
I think we lost the other camera. Maybe it's just me. We lost the, thank you. Beautiful.
That's the apple.
Great.
Yeah. And then, so I put a little ganache down on the plate, and then I have I put the apple hand pie down. Again, super simple, but a lot of work goes into it ahead of time. I was thinking about that when I was ready to do this. I was like, what is there to really say or show? Like, because I don't know, it's just all kind of straightforward stuff. But I hope that everybody enjoyed it. Man, did we make a mess of the kitchen? Look at that. And our first guest just arrived, and they're looking at me like I'm a lunatic right now. So I'm sorry, but I have to say thank you very much. Are there any more questions? I guess I could take another.
Yeah, I have a question. On the guinea hen, was it wrapped in the fat? What was it wrapped in?
That was the skin. I took the entire skin off in one piece.
Ah.
And there was the guinea hen's kind of a fatty bird. It has some fat, like fat in there.
Okay.
You know, a chicken doesn't have any fat on its skin
Right.
like that, but a guinea hen does.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Okay, great. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So just-
Okay.
So folks, I just typed the link in the chat, but you should also have it in the email. So I'm just going to end this meeting in just a couple of seconds, and you guys can all connect to the third part, which will just be just final words. And there's actually a raffle drawing as well. So we'll see you soon in the other one.
Great, thanks.